And we are live. I am so excited. Do you guys know that YouTube is like the second biggest search engine in the world? And have you been using YouTube to share your message with the world, to give voice to your vision? That's what we're talking about here on this show. And I have a master. She's a badass. She's also brilliant and has been helping hundreds of people to grow their YouTube channel in a way to build visibility. That's what we talk about here. Authority, yes, and profitability. You guys meet Teresa Hemsath. Hi.
Very nice to meet you all. Thanks, Michelle, for having me on today.
I'm so excited to have you. Will you, anything else that we need to know about you to get started with our conversation today about how do we get started, the power of YouTube for business? I have so many questions.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so I am co-founder of the Video Marketing School. I'm actually a former high school English teacher. I taught high school English for 13 years. And in 2017, I resigned from teaching to join my husband, Owen Video, in a really scaling, at that time, was Video Spot, which was his business. And he was at that time really working more as like an agency level video production type of service. He was starting to get into some coaching and really helping clients, but he was at that limit where he couldn't just do it anymore on his own. And he needed to be able to really scale. So we decided for me to come in and help out. And so what we did was we developed the Video Marketing School. And that was a way for him to be able to coach so many more people through some do-it-yourself types of courses that entrepreneurs can use to really help better use video to grow their businesses. But we also then moved into some higher level type of consulting and group coaching for people that needed a little bit more customized approach, a bit more hand-holding, a little bit more like week by week touch points with them. And so that's where we're at. So since then, it's been about 3 years. And within 6 months of me joining the business and helping building all of that out, we were actually able to make back my revenue that I was making as an
underpaid, overwhelmed, brilliant, sacred container of our child population. Sorry, that's my own. I'm projecting.
I appreciate that. I'm one of the few people who felt like, California paid teachers it's much better paid than the rest of the country. That's for sure. Certainly more, but was decent. It was definitely decent. Yeah. So it was great to be able to get back into that. So I've been working more behind the scenes for much of the last 3 or 4 years. I've learned the ins and the ropes for all of it. And over the last year or so, I've been kind of shifting more to opportunities like this, where I actually am working more with clients, even, running some, agency level types of services and assisting with coaching and so forth. As we're scaling, where it's just, you can't just have one coach anymore. We need multiple coaches. So
yeah,
really yes. And I actually just recently launched my own YouTube channel. It's actually, I shouldn't say it's just my own. It's with a couple of other ladies, but we're working together, and it's been a blast, absolute blast. A lot to share with you guys, and I'm excited.
Yeah.
Really, today is a really big, more than anything, inspiration, really.
Yes, that you can do it, right? We start and we go and we're called. My cat just pushed the door open to do big things. And so let's jump in right now. If you're here, let us know in the comments. Let StreamYard know you're commenting. We'll come back and check. Love having you here live so that we'll do our best to answer your questions for sure. I want to know if you would just talk a little bit about, well, you have something to share with us. Do you want to just jump into that and then I'll save my questions?
Sure. Yeah, I'm happy to.
Awesome. So you're gonna give us some of the ins and outs of what's possible on YouTube, how we can quickly get started on YouTube, and that'll give me some time to learn and watch along with you, as well as make sure that I'm seeing our comments everywhere they are and figuring out how to talk to everybody. Sound good?
Sure. Yeah. And just feel free to share any comments that are coming up that are that work with what exactly we're talking about at the moment, or we can just wait till the end. But happy to help out with all of the questions that might come in. So do you guys see my screen?
Here you go. Now they should be streaming.
Okay, perfect. Yep. So on the screen, you should see my husband, Owen Video, and myself.
Hi, Owen.
Yes, and what makes us different than a lot of other YouTube consultants and coaches out there is there are a lot of really great colleagues that we have out there who they work specifically with creators, right? So they might have like one of our good friends that like manages the Mr. Beast channel, right? And somebody else might be working with some of these other like family channels that are slime and stuff like that. But that's a very, very different type of client than what we work for. So Owen and I have always had a heart for the business owner. We're very entrepreneurial in nature, kind of started that way where, he was working, just doing videography for businesses to get them out there. This is very early age stages of YouTube. And so that's where we've kind of really found our niche is how do we help entrepreneurs and more business-minded people who have a mission, who have, a passion that's related to their business, and be able to use and leverage YouTube to grow their visibility, their authority, and their profitability. So that's where our passion is, and that's what I'm going to be really talking with you guys about today. But a lot of what I'm talking about could easily be applied to other people as well who may not necessarily want to have a YouTube channel related to their business, but more of a passion project. And we'll talk more about that later. But one of the big things that we really help our clients is those who are just tired of doing so many things. A lot of what we're doing, with our Facebook Live content, and we do some of these things too, so I'm not knocking any of it, but where some of the downfall is to some of these things is that a lot of them keep us very busy and they're short-lived. And there's definitely a positive to some short-lived content. It's very good for like, launches, and it's very good for, anything that you want to have that's like, you want to establish some urgency and so forth. But as far as like a long-term evergreen type of approach, that is where really YouTube can come in and help you not have to work as hard with growing, your authority and your visibility. And so with the revenue that comes in, there's really 3 different ways. Now, a lot of people, I think, really think of, oh, you have to have like some huge channel so you can get this ads, and I'm more like business minded, and how would that work? But you can really do all 3, and it just takes some time to build out. So one way that you can bring in revenue from YouTube is obviously using YouTube as a top of the funnel content, evergreen content, top of the funnel that can bring in leads for years to come. So like, for example, we have videos on our channel that we made 3 or 4 years ago, and they're still getting views. Some of them are still some of our top performing videos on our channel to this day, and bring in leads all the time. And so that's what's awesome about it, is it's not short-lived. It can keep going, especially if it's classic, long-term, valuable content that's not necessarily needing to be very like specific to a very specific time, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, as your channel grows and you reach some milestones, and for people that have been putting that effort in and putting some time in and really being consistent, you can, after some milestones are reached, you can actually start bringing in additional revenue through just views alone. And that's where Google will pay you, because they put the ads in front of your videos, and then now you've got some passive income coming in. Now, at first, it may not seem like a whole lot. You might be making, $50 a month, and it's $100 a month, and it's $300 a month, and it's $500 a month. And we have clients, and I'm going to show you some examples of clients who are making thousands of dollars each month in addition to their business, just passive income. And they're able to use it to, for vacations, to put into retirement, to fund their channel, to get editors, so that they don't need to edit their videos.
100%.
Right? Lots of different ways that you can really use that to make your life easier, right? And then the last way is one way that I think a lot of people don't necessarily know about, but it's one that we're very passionate about and what we've become really known for. So a lot of people are coming to us going, how can I bring in some sponsorships to my channel? And this is where you're making additional income on your channel from the brands and the products that you use in your industry that you love and that you would help your clients too. And so making videos that do talk about some of these products and how you use them, these brands that you use and love will pay you for that. So then you're getting additional income, and you're getting the views, and you're getting the lead gen, and it's just piles up on top of one another. So that is actually something that we help a lot of clients work on as well, as building out some of those packages so that when they do reach out to other brands or those brands reach out to them, they actually have something that they can say, yes, I can make a video for you. I'll do it on this, and it doesn't feel slimy. It doesn't feel salesy. It doesn't feel like it's sold out. It feels very natural because you're already using it. So, Michelle, you mentioned a couple of things at the beginning of the show here about like, hey, did you know that YouTube is the second biggest search engine? But there's some other stats here that I'm hoping that you take a look at. Like, this is really, I want today, if anything else, just to inspire you. Just sit on this and chew on it a little bit. Even if you don't do anything with it for the next 6 months to a year, I know a lot of this stuff you kind of just mull over and kind of think like, how could I use it? Why should I use it? Is it worth it? Getting your ducks in order so that if you decide to do it, you do it because it's worth it, right? But take a look at some of these things. 73% of adults in the United States use YouTube. It's not just for kids, guys. And then comparing that to 69% from Instagram. And I think it's cutting off at the bottom, but I think the other one was like Twitter or something like that. Okay. It's definitely like it's much bigger, right? And then a consumer who's ever watched a video about a product or service is 144% more likely to purchase that product or service. So, obviously, if you guys are watching this, I know that you're into video. That's why you're following Michelle. She's, a video master as well. We know like video has power, right? And obviously that applies to YouTube too, because YouTube is a video-centric platform. People go to YouTube specifically to watch videos. So you don't have to.
So powerful, so powerful. They are specifically going to YouTube to watch a video. This is a huge difference between trying to catch somebody's attention on Facebook, right?
Yes, right, where you're having to compete between cat memes and political arguments, right? Like they're going there specifically to watch it. And so, and I want to really emphasize those last two, right? The last two really saying, because some people think, well, I need to have high production value. Oh, I need to be famous for people to care. No, people really care more about the person and having that relationship, and they'll buy more from that person. And it's more important to have just really good content that really suits their interest, even more so than production, right? So
100%, 100%. Love it. Singing my song.
Good. So if you are thinking about it, this is really, I would say, the basics. For anybody who's thinking about like, should I go on YouTube? This is what I tend to look at as well. It's like, okay, is this something that would not be a difficult task for you? It would not really require a whole lot of, like a little bit of stretching, sure, but not like this person's going to crash and burn, right? So if you already have an expertise and you're passionate about it, and I stress that part about passion, because to grow a YouTube channel can take some time. And if you hate what you're talking about, it's going to be torture for you. You're not going to like it. Like part of the joy in the process is just the joy is the joy in the process. It's just making the videos and loving what you're talking about, because at first that might be really, one of the very first wins that you have is that you just did it. And you may not have like a sale that first week or that first month that you started your channel, right? It might take some time. And so are you enjoying it, right? And also obviously like having a basic setup. You don't need to have anything high production quality. Like right now, I think Michelle and I were both chatting before we hopped on.
Do you have one of these?
I don't even know
if you have a cell phone,
yes,
and a tripod,
yep,
and a clip light,
yep,
you can make a video for YouTube.
Exactly. So, a camera, it can be, I'm using right now a Logitech webcam. Okay. So if you prefer to make videos from your desktop or from your computer, then, a simple webcam is fine. If you prefer to use your phone, our phones are amazing these days. They have such
great amazing,
right? Especially some of the newer ones that are coming out. It's like, wow, like there's some strong competition out there for like DSLR cameras and things like that, just on your phone, right? And then, yes, a simple microphone, because audio is, you want to have some decent microphone, but like.
I couldn't hold up the microphone.
You can have one that clips. We have all sorts of
ran out of hands.
And we're going to be giving you guys a guide that has some of our gear that we recommend. So if you want a microphone that's real simple, yeah, we have some links to that in that guide. And then, some light. Obviously, you want to have some light on your face. But, we've even talked with clients about like, hey, if you have your desk next to a window, Even
100%.
just having the window lit up is good, right? Just having some light on there.
Yeah, and natural daylight is super powerful, right? It's often the most flattering light you can find, right?
Exactly.
So all that stuff, just to reiterate, you were saying before too that tech is a big obstacle for a lot of people, and I am not techie either. So I
am not either.
I love it, and honestly, I'm just going to shout out, like, if that's what's stopping you, it's not what's really stopping you. You know. We see you. It's not that hard, and overthinking the tech is probably at least, I don't know, I'm going to make something up, 70% resistance, maybe 90% resistance. So now you have heard it from another expert who is telling you what you got is good, and we're going to give you some more tools to help you actually implement. So sorry for interrupting. I can only contain myself.
I don't mind. Yeah, I like it. It's more like a conversation and less like some cheesy presentation. So so the next one is that I would bring up is, like, if you're looking to actually use YouTube to grow your business, just like running an ad, like you wouldn't run an ad to a service or that you offer that doesn't sell, right? Like, you'd want to make sure that it sells first before you start spending ad spend to run an ad to it. Well, the same thing with YouTube. Like, don't expect YouTube to be a great lead gen tool if your service isn't even sellable. Like, make sure it's sellable first. Make sure you've already got that part down, because then what YouTube does is just helps you bring in the lead flow into your pipeline, so that then the sales system that you already have and that you use and that works can then do the rest, right? But that has to be really established. So if you have something selling, then that's a good place to be.
100%. And by the way, visibility is awesome. And a lot of us are overcoming hurdles to become more visible, for sure. However, visibility without profitability is only halfway there. So it might be like, oh, I'm going to get visible and I'm going to build a channel, but 100,000 followers and no sales is a hobby. Right? It's a passion project or a hobby. I'm always amazed. My kid will show me somebody that he's watching in some gamer, and I'll be like, how many people are watching that? How many subscribers? That the monetizing it is a different piece. And I'm just going to say, because we're here in my community, your visibility that leads to profitability is where the transformation is for you and your clients, right? Not having an offer, not being willing to just share your message is great. And there are some other pieces of the puzzle that are going to accelerate your impact, accelerate your income when you accelerate your income, right? So it is important to have an offer that sells. And I've done some trainings in here. You may not know, Teresa, but recently about it is your spiritual birthright to have prosperity. And that is the highest level expression. We're talking about self-expression here for the summer, I decided. The highest level self-expression, if you're going to have a business, is to have clients and enrollment and sales. So you've just outlined a really powerful truth about selling on YouTube. But I just wanted to put in a plug for visibility's sake is something. But when you allow that to be more about impact and transformation, that means that you're allowing people, holding that space for people to invest in themselves, to work with you and get that higher level result, right?
Amen. Yes, exactly. And so there's really kind of like two types of people that we meet on YouTube when we're working with people. Like, some are entrepreneurs who already have that offer that sells, and now they want to leverage YouTube to bring in that lead gen. And then others are actually, maybe more of what you were talking about, where they relied on that visibility and they made a bunch of videos and they're getting pretty big. And now they're going, oh crap. Like, what am I going to do with all these people? I should probably do something with these views.
Yeah.
We were just working a couple of weeks with a client who has like over 1 million subscribers, and they're getting the ad revenue, but they've done nothing to actually bring them in offers outside of it. And they're like, we should come up with something. Okay, let's sit down together, and we're going to work with them on coming up with some sort of product that will really align with their channel, or a service that aligns with their channel that their audience will love. And that way they can, multiply that revenue that could be coming in from the content that people are loving, right?
And if they're called, especially if there's any piece of you that's called to make an impact or a difference, and you don't give people a way to have that transformation, you're kind of holding out on them, right? Yep. Just to flip that and say it is so powerful and important for us to have those offers and make that impact. It actually accelerates the the offers and the sales and the revenue accelerate the impact that we can make, and support a YouTube habit more than support your YouTube habit, right?
You gotta fund the channel for sure. So, you know, we kind of show it the way that we show a lot of our clients is really kind of thinking of your channel as like a number of different series. And we use the word great, you know, great video. We have a format that we like to teach on how they can deliver, you know, their message without it sounding salesy or slimy. It's very it's very valuable already on its own. But, you know, there's elements to it that can lend itself to, okay, you know, next step would be, you know, here's this offer. Here's something that you can do to go dive deeper with us, where we can support you in whatever it is that they're finding you on through these series, right? So another way of looking at it is kind of this might be a little more specific. So kind of looking at each circle at the top being a video that you made. And at first, you know, we're saying, okay, watch this next video, right? Because that's part of like a nurturing aspect of the channel. But then after a few different videos where they really have grasped some of the concepts that you're trying to show, or, you know, shown them the value of solving these problems and so forth, that's a really great place where you can, you know, invite them to a next step with you. And it doesn't always have to be buy my product, right? Like you can invite them to your website. You can invite them to your email list. Maybe you offer them something for free that in exchange for their email that would be valuable, a checklist of some sort or whatever. Invite them to your Facebook groups. If you're active in your Facebook groups where you really connect more with your, you know, your leads and your clients or however way that works, you know, that's a great next step because you can engage with them, I think, a little more personally in those Facebook groups than you could in the YouTube space. So it's a good level to bring them in. And then if you have any launches, you know, you can link them to a launch that is very timely and like this is happening right now. And then when the launch is over for future video, you know, people who are watching those videos later on, you can change that link out. And so it goes to your evergreen offer, right? So you can use it really for both. And then, of course, even using it to schedule, you know, some sort of even like a discovery call of some sort where they can learn more about how they can work with you. So there's so many options. This is not even all of them, right? These are just an example of a few different ways that you can invite your YouTube viewers to go to that next step with you. So I want to give you guys a couple of examples of just different types of people that can really benefit from YouTube. Again, try to imagine where you fit with this because I'm going to show you about 3 different types of entrepreneurs and how YouTube has really worked for them so that you can, again, I want you, my big goal here really is just to get you dreaming, to get you inspired and thinking. And, you know, whenever that might come into play later on in your future, whether it's now or a year from now, like these stories I want you to remember. So this is one of our clients who's a financial advisor. I mean, come on, like as left-brained as you can get, right? But he had a proven sales model. He had a desire to do video, and he was interested in tactical results. And so he came to us going, okay, well, how can I leverage, you know, YouTube? And he had a lot of questions. You know, what should my videos be about? What do I even say in my videos? Do I need a fancy camera? Do I have to learn editing? Do I have to be goofy? Like, is YouTube all about being silly? Do I have to have those dorky thumbnails? You know, how much time is this going to take? Right? These are a lot of questions that maybe you are having. And so we helped, you know, resolve a lot of that for him to really show that what he can make his videos about, simple ways that he can say it, simple setup so that it's not overwhelming, simple to no editing at all. No, you don't need to be goofy. You can be your authentic self. And
please be your authentic self.
Yes. And not take a whole lot of time. Like we really teach a strategy that really will only take about 2 to 4 hours a week. And anything more than that should be only if it's worth it to you, if that time is worth it to you because you're getting so many results. I know some people who moved to full-time YouTubing because it's working so well, like that's the only type of marketing they even do. So it's worth it for them, right? Yeah. But here's some examples of some things that happened. So, you know, he was able to, he didn't have a huge following, but it didn't matter for him because he was getting just like the leads that he wanted. That wasn't his goal. His goal wasn't, this particular man wasn't, his goal was not to become some famous YouTuber. He just wanted a way for people to find him on Google and in YouTube that would make sense, that would be ideal for him, and, you know, bring more attention to what he was talking about, and then invite them to sales calls in his sales system that he had. And so, you know, you can see here, even with the small amount of subscribers that he had, you know, over 3 years, he racked up like a lot of views.
Yeah, those are great.
Right? And, here's some examples of some things that we worked with. Okay, he had a series on retirement planning. So we had a number of different videos on different ways, how it all works with retirement, and investing. We worked on targeting different age groups, right? Because those were all possible clients for him. And so different types of videos, there's, you can just go on and on, even on just a word, investing, retirement planning, right? And, this is some of the stuff that we saw, he reached out to us many times over the course of it while we were working with each other and just sharing these wins that he had. So, here's an example. He got a $900 a year client that just came in today, wanted to retire. He had another one that was $12,500 a year client coming in from his YouTube channels. Towards the end of our time together, he made over $60,000 in new revenue in just 6 weeks from all from his YouTube. And we worked with him on just how do you drive his viewers to his sales system. There was a couple things that we worked with him to implement so that it was a real natural flowing process. Didn't feel really like confusing or strange. It was very natural for them to get to that next step with him. And yeah, I mean, he actually told us in this interview, like, I'm actually going to I don't have enough members on my team at this point to even handle this. So he needed to actually slow down because the leads were just coming in so strong, right? Got him into
this is what we call a high-class problem.
It really is, right? And then there's the authority that comes with it. So you're not even just bringing in revenue, but then when people see what you're doing, they're inviting you to, hey, can you write this guest column, for Forbes? Can you go speak at this event? So it also brings in opportunities for you in your industry because you are becoming inspirational. You are becoming influential more, as well. So people want you to talk. And so that can even open up doors to other types of clients and other types of business opportunities just from that alone. So we have another client here. This was 3 years ago with this client, but it continues to work, right? We have another client here who was in real estate, right? And so she launched a channel really working with, helping real estate agents specifically. And you can see 8,000 subscribers. This is one of her #1 sources of income right now is her channel, right? This particular client who's in real estate, he came to us with maybe 1 to 5 views on his videos. But when we worked with him on just dialing in his messaging and making it more fun and helping him with the process, look how much, he was doing within a few weeks of working with us. He started getting 900 views, 400 views, 261 views. He actually just, I just posted in my stories today, he brought in like 90K just at the beginning of this year from 2 of his videos. That's how, and the videos weren't even that good. We watched them, we're like, it could have been better, but like it worked. It brought in about $90,000 worth of real estate revenue for him with his commission. So it doesn't matter. We had a financial guy. We had a real estate guy. Here is one of our clients who's in weight loss. She's a health coach. It's working for her. She doesn't even have a whole lot of subscribers yet. She's 384, but leads are coming in, right? Now, here's another type of client I want to show you. Just an example.
Hang on 1 second. Did you see the question from Teresa? I don't know if you can see the comments. Teresa Tree Cretella is here, and she was asking about the subscribers. So I just wanted to go back a second and highlight. That's not a lot of subscribers. So you just gave a great example of it doesn't have to be, 100 paying clients is way more powerful than 10 million subscribers. So a handful or a couple of clients from a smaller pool of subscribers is totally practical. It's reasonable. It's easy to do if you have the support that you need. And it's not about just generating this, it doesn't have to be your viral thing, right? If you are using these strategies that you're talking about and you have an actual strategy that's going from your visibility and your message, it's providing value, but it's also, you have a way for it to lead to the calls or the gifts or the next step with you. And if we don't take that next step, provide that next step, we're kind of leaving people hanging. Exactly. So I just wanted to jump in and make sure that we got that covered.
I didn't see it, so I would appreciate, because I'm doing this presentation, it's like taking my whole screen up. So anytime comes in, just let me, if you can just share it with me, and I'm happy to answer.
I am on it.
Ask that because it kind of lends me to this next example. But clarifying right now, the way that the YouTube algorithm is really working, like the subscribers really are not that huge of a deal right now. Like views are more important. And even views, I would say for anybody who's launching a channel, I would even say, like, don't even worry about that right now. Like, there's some other metrics that are much more foundational that you need to dial those in first. And if you dial those in, the views will come. And then once you dial views in, the subscribers will come too. But views are gonna be more important, I think, than subscribers, because it just takes a couple of videos. And not a lot of people are like, oh, I want to subscribe. It's like they watch a couple of videos. Yeah, this guy's for me. And they want to call you. Like, so you're going to get both, right? But you don't need a whole lot of subscribers or even a ton of views to start using it as your lead gen content.
Super important to hear.
But some people do find, and I'm going to give you this example here with Christina Smallhorn, who started her channel specifically to get leads, started having some fun with some content specifically on manufactured homes, just to kind of create some of that in that aspect. She noticed there were some search terms that were like, people were searching about it. Well, it blew her channel up. Like, it blew her channel up. Look at I don't know if you can see it because of the screen size, but she's a real estate agent and she's at 26,000 subscribers. And here's an example of one of her videos. There's no ads to this. 528,000 views. And that's, this is very consistent with any of her manufactured home content. So what it's done is she went in doing it for lead gen, and she still is using it for her lead gen, but now her channel is also bringing in a ton of passive income just from the views that are coming into some of these hotter topics that she's talking about. So she's able to now,
like what? Do you have like a ballpark? Because I don't think I've ever even given much thought to the idea of getting those views and the passive income. So I think you already talked about it. It could be $50, it could be $100. But for example, if you actually get 100,000 views, is that enough to see passive income from that?
Oh, definitely, definitely. I would say, you know, for if you have a channel where your videos, if something pops with your channel and you're bringing in, you know, 100,000 plus views on all your videos,
all your videos.
That's you know, it's supposed to happen, right? Like, hers, it's specifically her manufactured home stuff is really what popped, right?
Yeah.
But if that becomes something consistent, it's not a one-time thing, right?
Right.
Consistent thing where you now have developed a channel that is like, it's gotten pretty popular. Oh, you're bringing in 5, 10, 15,000 a month in passive income just from your channel. Now, obviously there's Mr. Beast status, which is like far exceeds anything that I'm even talking about here. But his is for kids. I want to give real examples of entrepreneurs, right?
100%. Right?
Yeah. This is a real estate agent, and she's probably, you know, that's the kind of income that she could be bringing in right now because of these views. And so you can kind of see where it's consistent. 2.5 million views on this one, 967,000 views on this one. So high amounts of traffic because of this series that just popped, and she was not expecting it, but it happened, right? Here's a former client of ours, Dr. Sten. He's a chiropractor. He was creating content on his channel to try to drive more people, you know, over to his practice, which was a brick and mortar chiropractic office in Georgia, right? But guess what? He's dynamic, he's smart, and his content started growing and growing and growing. And now he's at 1 million subscribers, and his views, take a look. 6 days ago, 400,000 views, 1.2 million views. So he's not only grown his practice and now has enough money to hire other chiropractors to do the chiropractic for him, you know, in addition to it, now he's having virtual services where he's now able to figure out ways. We helped him dial in some products and services that he could offer to his people who couldn't come to his brick and mortar. They didn't live in Georgia. They lived in Europe. They lived in California. What could he offer them? So this has now been such a revenue driving element to his business that it went way beyond what he was originally planning, right? Yeah. Virtual and with passive income coming in addition to his chiropractic services. So there's a huge potential there, right? And so my last one example was a service-based provider who was a plumber, and you know, he was starting to create content like how to fix a bath, how to fix a toilet on this, again, to try to generate leads for his plumbing business. Well, he's very dynamic as well. He enjoyed the process. He was creating really valuable content. Well, guess what? He's at 332,000. He's one of the most well-known plumbing channels in the world. And he's making enough money now with sponsorships. I told you guys about sponsorships where you can get like brands that you already love and use paying you. Like, hey, can you talk about how you use this or that? He's no longer plumbing anymore. He owns his business. He's got all the plumbers that he's hired to now do all the plumbing, and he's just full-time having fun making videos about plumbing, bringing in money from sponsorships and his passive income. And he was able to really scale just because of his YouTube channel, right? So it's so neat to see. And it starts with something as simple as what we had talked about, right? Like you don't need anything super fancy. If you enjoy it and you want to level up over the time, it's like, oh, I brought some extra money and I think I'm going to get a fancier camera. I think I might want a fancier mic. That's fine. Great. Go for it. But you don't need that to start. None of the examples of people that I shared with you, none of them started with anything fancy. If you go back to any of their channels and look at the content they started with, it was so simple. Dr. Sten still pulls out an easel
Love it.
and a marker, and he still does his content.
It's so important to just emphasize that, because yeah, you can have a lot of slick bells and whistles, but that's not necessarily going to buy you credibility, especially in these days and age, in this day and age, because people are kind of savvy about what's possible with technology. So, one of the things that I will say is like, there's a great time for you to come into my home. You get to be in the command center here with me, and that your background and your environment tells a story about who you are. And it doesn't have to be fancy. And I think that as we continue to accelerate and get more and more content and more hypey stuff and more fast-paced stuff, those people that are going to resonate with you are going to resonate with your, let them in, let it be simple, let it be lower tech, let it be, especially I work with so many people in the transformation space, right? So in that space, there's an intimacy and a casualness that builds rapport. It helps me to trust you, helps me to feel like you get me, right? That can't be overstated. Serena's asking a question about, can I record on Zoom and upload to YouTube? Yes, you can. Of course you can, Serena. And she's in one of my Visibility Success Academy. So I wanted to make sure we answered that. Not to interrupt, we've got another 10 minutes or so here. I wanted to make sure you have a chance to tell us all of your goodness.
Well, sure, not a problem. And I think I have probably plenty more that I have more than what we need, right?
Great.
So let me just kind of go through it. If I can skip to anything that might be of value, and then I'd love to open up the floor to any other questions.
Yeah.
But one of the things that I wanted to mention is for those of you who are just thinking about it right now, and you have a channel or you're thinking about having a channel, one of the things I'd want you to think about before getting out there and actually creating your content is to really think about what would be your value statement of your channel. Because anybody that finds your videos, a lot of what I do find is a lot of people assume that if they found this video, they're watching it, then they've seen the other videos. But a lot of these videos, you really kind of have to treat it as if, imagine this person has never seen any of your videos before. So they might never see another video again. How can you really clarify why they would want to see more videos? Because it may not just be this topic that you did this video on. You might do plenty of other topics that all fit under this umbrella of value that you provide. And you want to make sure that they are clear on that every time you make a video. So, thinking about, on this channel, we talk about X so that you can do Y and finally achieve Z. A lot of that what Michelle was talking about, like getting them, like understanding what their problems are and what they want, and how your channel really will help them with that, no matter what topic it is. I mean, real estate, plumbing, health and wellness, whatever industry you're in, there's something like that you offer, and you want to make sure that that's something that your whole channel is on. If you start going on these rabbit trails of trendy things that aren't fitting within this value, you're going to confuse the algorithm, you're going to confuse your audience, and your channel's not going to grow. So this is foundational here. Everything on your channel needs to support this value statement that you have. So spend some time really thinking about what that might be. Play around with some of the wording, and then you can start having some fun really, creating content that people can find you on. So, how can they find you? there's Google. Now I'm going to let you guys know. I'm not sure if you guys know this. Some of you might or might not. This is really cool. I thought this was fascinating. Google gives priority to video content on YouTube if it matches the keywords that that people are looking for. So if you search for something on YouTube to try to, you're on a journey right now, you want to get more information on it, and someone has done a video on it, that will actually be of higher priority and get on that first page than if there isn't. And so if there's not a video on it, you won't see any of that. So even just searching on Google will bring traffic to your videos if you're using the right keywords. YouTube search, obviously, it is alone by itself the second biggest search engine. So a lot of people just prefer to just go to YouTube to find out information. They just like it that way. It makes sense to them, and they don't even go to Google. It just depends, right? Yep. But there's also the YouTube suggested algorithm. And so for anybody who, here who uses YouTube, you might notice that when you're watching a video on whatever, like I could be watching a video on like how to make my eyes smoky, but I'll also see like,
that's how you roll. Right. I told them you were a badass.
Yes. But I might see some videos that pop up on the side that have nothing to do with smoky eyes. I might be about something else, but I'm totally interested in it. You know how like, you ever notice that Facebook ads just know you so well, right?
They are reading your mind and your.
I love my Facebook ads. I'm one of those people I have no problem with. I love it. They know me. They know me well. Well, the same thing with the algorithm on YouTube. If you do enough using of YouTube for things that interest you, YouTube starts figuring out like what you might be interested in knowing about. And so you could be watching a video on X, but if YouTube has kind of figured out that you're this type of person and you're interested in this and you like this and this other thing, it'll suggest videos on the side that might be completely unrelated to this topic that you're looking at now, but it grabs your attention and you go, oh my gosh, I want to look at that video. Well, your content can come up like that too. So for example, if your audience is primarily women, right? Maybe they're age 35 to 45. Well, they're probably moms, right? So like if you are targeting those types of people, this person might be, one of your audience members might be watching a video that's helping with their motherhood, but you don't deal with that, but that if they're a mother, they're also more likely to maybe work with you because of something else that you do. Your content could be popping up and they're looking and going, oh, I want to check out that video next, even though they weren't even looking for you.
Yeah, I want to do a little sidebar on that because I know I was talking to some people recently and saying, Facebook collects 500 points of data on every click you make, and people can get kind of weirded out about that. But when it comes to ads, they're going to be there anyway, right? So it's doing you a service. Like I would much rather have ads that are based on behaviors and going to show me stuff that I might be interested in if they're going to be there anyway, right? And the value of popping up there we can't really overstate that. It can be a very powerful, especially we have so many people that are kind of tuned into, a spiritual mindset here of, law of attraction and what you think about expands. And so when you add that into what the algorithm can do, it puts a whole nother spin on the goodness of it. And that these are some great tips and things to keep in mind because, that sidebar, I watch it all day long with my kids. If they're, sitting there, it's showing them stuff and they are clicking. It is, maybe it's clickbait, but at least it's aligned with what you want, what you're here to do. And, so many people in this space are here to make the world better. Yep. So the noise and the volume and the videos and all the stuff isn't going to slow down because you decide you don't want to add to it, right? And it is so powerful to contribute your voice, your vision. This show is called Give Voice to Your Vision, right? This channel is about giving voice to your vision so that you can make an impact and create more profitability and transformation in the world. So to have that there, it's just a really powerful teaching point I wanted to emphasize. Yeah.
Thank you. Yes. And what I love about the algorithm specifically with YouTube is it's organic, right? You don't have to pay for that. That's what's so awesome about it. And their goal really is they want people watching the videos on there. So if you're creating videos that are really of tremendous value and they're seeing it, the algorithm sees, wow, people are watching it and they're staying the whole time. They're going to want to share, they're going to want to suggest your content out because they're seeing that people like it. And, it helps them out and it enforces, and spreads your message and it makes people's lives better. So it's definitely a tool to take advantage of for sure. Especially if you feel like what your message is valuable. So, here's an example of a passion project that we started on the side a while back. It's like a family channel and so forth. But you can see, like, my analytics tell us that YouTube search found some of our videos. 56% of my videos were found with YouTube search. 20% of them were found with suggested, where YouTube just suggested people. People weren't even searching for our content, but they knew, hey, they like family content, they might like theirs, right? So it gives you a lot of information that that is very helpful for you, right? Did they find you browsing? I love the data that it can give. That's very different. Here's some examples. Should I hire a bookkeeper? This is on Google, right? But because people made some videos on it, guess what Google does? It will, give it a higher priority, and it'll show up on that first page, answering those questions. So you can, get found that way. Now, we teach a 4-point content strategy, and I want to just share a little bit of it for you, as you guys are thinking about, like, what kind of content would I create? Okay, so I'm going to just suggest 4 for you as you're moving forward and thinking about, like, what you might do on this channel. Something for you to just start chewing on and thinking about. Mindset videos for future leads. These are not going to be people that are going to buy right away, but there's some things that you really need to work out with them so that they're ready for you one day, right? A lot of people are really looking for mindset videos on YouTube. So how can you tap into that as it relates to your business, right? So series of videos that really deal with some of those that you see a lot of your potential clients really needing because it's not ready yet. Flag planting videos. Anybody who's ever watched or read the book Primal Branding, I'm not sure if anybody's familiar with that book, but it's really powerful in that planting your flag and really identifying how you are different than others and what you stand against as well as what you stand for works very well for video content. And this is a really great way to get suggested. So if there's something trendy out there that you disagree with, but people are searching for it and you don't teach it, well, making videos about why that trendy thing that's out there that people are doing is not helpful to them is great possible content for you. Because you're now pulling in people and then, in a sense, kind of teaching them why they need to stop doing that and really show them the value of what it is that you're teaching, which is this different way. So content like that, where you're really looking at what's trending with things that you don't agree with, and sharing why that's unhealthy. And then, finding a couple of really good keywords that are associated with your industry and what you do. You might have to do a little bit of research on it, but if you can find 1 or 2 really strong keywords that you can get ranked for, creating a ton of content on that and using those keywords in all of the videos that you do for those types of series, so that when people find one video that you did on that topic and they look over to that sidebar, they're seeing more of your videos popping up and they're going, wow, this is that person that really knows their stuff on this particular topic that they're interested in, right? That would be a really great place for you to start when you're really thinking about visual content. Yeah.
Love it. I want to just dip back into what you were teaching about, and we're probably going to have to wrap it up here in a second, but I wanted to dip back into this idea of series. And one of the reasons I've been encouraging people on video since I began on my online business is really because of the way the brain processes voice, face, sound, and in this idea, you've given a really powerful nugget. I help people with content creation and consistent visibility and strategizing their visibility over time, and not knowing what to talk about can be a thing, right? So if you have a theme or fill it with the different teaching topics on that theme, it helps you figure out what to say and have a consistent ongoing presence. But this idea of a series is gold because, think about the series. We just have been looking for a new series on Netflix, right? And think about when you watch a series, I think like the really long running series like Friends or the Seinfeld show. I know I'm old. But when I didn't even watch those, I had young children then. So, but you miss these people when they're gone, right? Like the repetition and people looking for your voice, your face, your message. It's a really powerful idea, and I just wanted to highlight that. You've given us so many great such a great framework for knowing how to get started and seeing the power of YouTube. I know that we have a gift that you're going to share. Will you tell us a little bit about that? And I will post it here, and then I'll make sure it gets in our other places as well.
Sure. Yeah, happy to. So I imagine there might be, two types of people that are watching today. Either A, you don't have a YouTube channel. Maybe you were inspired by today and you're thinking, wow, I think that might be something really worth pursuing, like it could really work, and something that you might enjoy. For those of you who, fit into that, that framework right now, I have a guide for you. And so the guide, we can put it in the comments, but it will help you kind of talk a little bit about what I was talking about today, but really give you a place where you can kind of think about your content, who your audience is, what kind of content do you want to create. I've got some links in there to link you to some gear, some basic gear that you might want to need, that you might have or not have or want to level up on if you want to. And then even some guidance on how to say it, right? It doesn't feel very salesy or slimy and those kinds of things. And there's some links in there to connect with me if you want to connect with me in any way. So that is in, Michelle's going to put that link in there for you. It's
I did. I put the guide link in there, and I'm going to come back and make sure that it's posted in all the different places that we're streaming. So it's there for sure. You guys, I have looked through this and it's incredible. And Teresa and Owen have created some really powerful tools to get you started. And this is filled with them. And if you're already doing some video, if you know that visibility is your thing, that's probably why you're here. Get the guide so that you at least can see how doable this all is. We talked about like SEO and technology and all of these, making offers and selling and we talked about a lot of big ideas. So this is a way for you to really have some simple, direct steps, because as we always say, transformation happens through implementation. And as you can tell from getting to hang out with this smart, badass, awesome lady for this show today, they've got a ton of resources and simple step-by-step ways for you to get going and to get into action and to implement and save time, so you don't have to go to YouTube and be like, how do I YouTube the thing on the right? Because there's a lot of information out there. So I'm always so passionate about bringing you really smart people that are here to help it make it easier for you, help you. When I first saw Teresa's authority, profitability, we talk here about visibility, credibility, profitability, and how we link those together. So this is a really powerful guide, and she's giving it to you. So go check that out. And if you're looking for help or support, I couldn't put you in better hands. And I don't see any other questions right now, but we'll check in. We'll come back. If you come
one
back.
more that I wanted to offer, and that
Great.
was for those of you who might already have a channel. Maybe you've been using your channel kind of just like upload videos that you've done on Facebook or some other place, and it's kind of just a storage house for you right now. Maybe you have tried, right? Maybe you have actually thought about, okay, I want to have a channel and I've done this, but it's not working for you, or you're not sure, like, how do I get it to do better? Like that.
Or you're overwhelmed because you think you should be doing all of these things and you're not really doing them. And do you have team to help you do it? La, la, la. We just had this conversation a couple of weeks ago. Go on.
So what I'd like to offer for those of you who already have that, you don't really feel like you need the starter guides. Like, I already know my audience. I already have some content on there. I already have the gear. I just want to get better at what I'm doing. I want to see what I'm doing wrong because I'm not getting the views that I want, or whatever it is. I'd love to, I can connect with you on a free 15-minute audit call. And so what we'll do on that is we'll hop on a Zoom together. I'll take a look at your channel right in front of you and live, like right there in the moment. I'm going to take a look and I'm going to give you 3 tips. 3 things
my goodness.
Right away that you can start implementing. And then, of course, if you want to know more about how you can get support with anything like that, you can always message. It's definitely not a pitch call. I always want to make sure and clarify it is a true, valuable call for you to get those 3 things. To be able to help you.
So you guys, I've done this with Teresa, and and that's an incredible invitation for her to come through. And that 15 minutes, just because of her breadth of experience and how she really gets how to use this tool for the entrepreneur, she's going to be able to give you so much clarity in just that time. Thank you. That's a very generous offer. So if you guys want that, why don't you comment here and just say call, or and we'll come back and make sure to follow up with you and figure out how to get you guys connected. We post posted, the guide is posted here in the comments. Any final words of brilliance from the video marketing master, badass Teresa, that you'd like to leave for people who are all excited, like, oh my God, this is going to be so good. Now I have to go do all this YouTube stuff. What would you tell them?
I would say to think of a YouTube channel as a legacy for you.
Oh, that's awesome.
Right? Like, because it is long lived, and it does build over time, and it can be much more than just a quick way to kind of bring in some leads right now. Like, that's a short-term benefit that can happen right away. But
Yeah.
you're really, truly passionate about what it is that you do and the value that you can give to the world. Like, that is also huge. And there's that added benefit of just having the joy of sharing that and leaving a legacy behind for your kids and your grandkids to be able to see this channel that you created, and the ripple effects that it can lead into the future of people who find these videos later on and watch them for years to come. That's why we love it, and why, eventually for us, like, we want to become full-time creators as well, with so many of the passions that we have. Like, I have so many passions outside of even just what I'm teaching you right now. Yeah. And so, I don't know, but
so powerful.
That legacy really, for me, makes a big difference.
And I think you're speaking right into our reason, why we're here, to give voice to our vision, for sure. I can't say thank you enough. You have a link to the guide, you guys. Ming wants the audit. Ming is here. She's probably waiting for me on the Dare to Soar call, which is starting right now. So I'm going to wrap it up. You guys, connect with Teresa. She's a friend and an amazing resource for you. She's given you this guide, and always reach out. You can reach out to us. Thank you so much for sharing so many juicy goodnesses with our people here. I love to hang out with you. And what else? That's it. Have an amazing week, you guys. Go get visible. Give voice to your vision so you can stop the spinning wheel. You can get real, and it is clarity you feel. Thank you for being here, being a part of the tribe, Teresa. We will see you guys soon next week.
Thank you so much. Pleasure.